Welcome everybody to this video presentation of mine. I would like to look at the fourth trump today in the book of Revelation. This talks about darkness. And are we having darkness in the earth? Well, yeah, we've been having these power shortages. Like here in France in December 2022, they had a cold snap. And so they had to use more power and they just didn't have it. And the reason is simply this, because they don't have the oil and gas to heat their buildings, so they're using electricity, and it's putting a great demand on it. And so they have nuclear power plants. They have like 56 of them in France, but not enough. And we see then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened. And a third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. And in John's day, when he had this vision, they didn't have cities, they didn't have power, and so all they had for lights was sun, moon, and stars. So what he's seeing here in some future, this darkening of the earth, I think is what we're getting right now, because it's happening not just in one place, but a lot of places because of power outages, and particularly now when we're trying to change over from oil and natural gas. Even in China, energy crisis, rolling blackouts in China could disrupt global supply chain. And China is using coal and natural gas and some nuclear, I'm sure, to produce electricity. But it's just not enough. The demand is too much, and this is what's causing the darkness. How to transition away from fossil fuels without creating an energy crisis is pretty hard to do if you're trying to do it in a short time, because you think the world's going to end if we don't get rid of oil and gas. I think the actual nuclear is more destructive. So not just China and France, but also South Africa. ESCOM plans another week of rolling blackouts. And what's a blackout? Darkness on the earth and different parts, a third of the earth. And that was November 2021. And here, Russia's been bombing power stations, complete blackout. Ukraine on the edge of a complete blackout. So however you want to look at it, it's a blackout, whether it's by power shortages or because of bombings or because of demand. Either way, it's happening. And we could have had other trumpets too. The first trumpet, for instance, talks about fire coming on the earth, and with hail and fire and mixed with blood, and a third of the earth is burned up, and a third of the trees, and on. But people say, well, when did that ever happen? Well, just last year we've had fires in Spain, all over Europe. We've had fires in Australia, we've had fires in Brazil, fires in the US, in Texas, and so that could have been. And not only that, here we've had the second trumpet talks about a great mountain burning with fire being cast into the sea. And in Hawaii, in the United States, they had this Mauna Loa. Just happens to be the largest volcano in the world, and this thing blew up November 28th. And about a month before that, in Italy, Stromboli blew up, and it looks like a mountain burning. So pretty interesting. Could be things happening we don't realize it. And here we have a BBC article back in 2019. It says, what would happen in an apocalyptic blackout? Apocalyptic, that's for Revelation. Well, here's what it really is. The fourth trumpet, it just says a third. So, we're thinking apocalyptic blackout, that's the whole world. And that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing it in China, we're seeing it in India, seeing it in France and parts of South America. But it's not all over, it's not all at once, and that's what I'm saying here. These trumpets are not so that they cover the whole earth. They're just a third, and they're like warning signs. And what they're really warning about is the fall of Babylon. You know, that happened the same as Jericho. It fell after the trumpets. Well, that's what's happening with Babylon. And here, a third trumpet, an angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven. You know, whether it's a comet or what it was, blazing like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. And the name of the star was Wormwood, and a third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died. You know, most of us see this as, you know, some asteroid hitting the sea. But if it destroyed the sea, then all the fish would die. But here, many people died because it has to do with drinking water, right? So I don't think it's actually the asteroid. What's really happening is in this name Wormwood. You know, Chernobyl. You know what happened there? That's what wormwood means, Chernobyl, and it's poisonous water. And that's what happened. You know, they had a power leakage, and it caused one of those reactors couldn't get cooled off, and so they had a leakage, and it caused many people to die because of the radioactivity. And that's what I think this is really about. And we can expect that to happen. You know, here's we had this star, or this comet here, just it's actually showing up here in January, the end of January, and it was seen last March, and out of the blue they said it goes back to Neanderthal times. And you know, here's just you know, right at the beginning of the year, I think this is just like a sign, you know, that we should know that we're coming into that third trumpet. You know, why not? You know, a great star fell from heaven, and it's not as if we don't have any of these possible nuclear leakages. Look what happened in Japan. They had that tsunami, and it nearly caused that nuclear power plant to, you know, to spew radioactivity into the sea. And then, you know, here we're having this war in Ukraine, and they're actually bombing power stations. Well, they've come close to hitting a nuclear power station too. So, you know, it's not unbelievable for that to actually happen. And you know, I think because it's already happened at Chernobyl. So this could be the, you know, the third trumpet. I'm not saying these trumpets have happened yet, especially like this fourth trumpet, but we're getting precursors to it. You know, in John's day, they had no cities with lights, like I said. So the darkness on the earth, you know, he didn't know, he just saw a darkness on the earth. So I think it's this darkness, this France's power grid, you know, China, you know, South Africa, here, Ukraine, you know, power outages. That's what he sees. A third, not all over, but enough that it should ring a bell. And this is what these trumpets are. They're warning of the fall of Babylon. Let's look it up in the book of Revelation. It's not just the end of the world, it's the end of Babylon. And, you know, we are announcing the gospel of the kingdom of God that's coming. And you know, the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our God and of his Christ. And that's what the kingdom of God is coming. And before that, Babylon will fall. So, and it'll be burnt up, you know, just like Jericho. After the walls came tumbling down, then it was burnt up. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you keep on the alert, and God bless.